Hi, people of God. Um, a lot of times our people suffer demonic possession, so it's hard to reach the people you love in a time when they're bound. So a lot of times when you see me doing my videos, please reach out to these videos because you may be going through these things. You may be experiencing these things and nobody's talking about it because guess what? The first thing that these people begin to tell you the moment that you start going through these things is that you're mentally incompetent and you're not where you're supposed to be mentally so that they can continue to abuse you. The moment that you start going through these things, they try to lower your self esteem and stuff like that. I tell people a lot of times, I'm not looking the way that I would normally look because my hair is covered to be modest. So, a lot of times when people think about beauty or whatever, I would not want them to refer to me as that beauty model type because it brings a lot of negative attention my way that I may not be comfortable with because I downplay my beauty so much to be modest and not to be appealing too much to anyone. So, what I'm going to start off by saying this morning is that a lot of y'all are dealing with your naysayers. These are enemies. They have connected to you through work means, they have connected to you because you're trying to provide for yourself. They have been connected to you since your childhood and stuff like that. They're not going to tell you that the one they call a servant, the one they call a slave, is the most powerful person that they could ever come into contact with. That's the reason why they try to keep it bound. They will attack you, bound you because of your strength. And if you cannot lose yourself, attack you constantly because they're sitting there and they're fearful of you. So you know your position. The moment you start seeing vision compromise, the moment you start seeing all these different things going on with you, you're going through that because you are powerful, not because you are incompetent or inadequate or inferior, but because you are superior. Do they play these games? Because mentally, I'm going to tell you something. Mentally, they want to psych you out before the actual plays start to play. Mentally, they want to build fear in you before we start the dance. So you haven't even started the dance because you're bound and they sitting up there, they're attacking. The dance hasn't even started. We just at the beginning of some things. And I don't care how many years you're bound like this, you're still at just the beginning of some things. Because the first thing they don't understand is that you have to know who you are, not who they want you to be. A lot of us are seeking to become greater. A lot of us have invested time in ourselves that sometimes we don't even get the gratification of. See, I keep telling y'all about seed and harvest time. See, I planted my seed, my tree grew, but they just want to give me back a seed. I planted my seed, they uprooted my seed, and I helped water somebody else's tree. And they handed me back my seed and said, "This belongs to you. And we appreciate the water that you put on our seeds and our trees." I say this because nowadays in America, you have more people. Tyler Perry even talking about this. You have all these different artists and talented people talking about even with them having ownership of their artistry and their work, they're still not getting paid what they're worth. And a lot of people don't know why. So I'm going to make it clear to you. You're not getting paid what you worth because you don't play the games they play. You're not in the arenas that they're in. See, some of these people playing in arenas that destroys them, and they pray at satanic altars and ungodly altars to get the revenue that they supposed to have. So now I have gotten to the point where I realize that they never want to give me the revenue that I'm worth because of the fact they know how powerful I am. So they're trying to keep me dumbed down, enslaved down, and greedy. And when I say dumbed down, enslaved down, and greedy, you constantly have to ask for something or ask for money, constantly in a begging state. You either gonna beg or you're going to be a taker, and you'll be constantly stealing. And because you people of God, a lot of times we don't steal. A lot of times we're constantly asking family members, we're constantly asking people to help and assist us because they see us as superior. And I don't know how to say this. I once heard the pastor say it. The pastor once said, and I remember hearing preachers constantly say this, say the devil isn't bothering who they already got. I already got this one. I don't have to worry about this one. This one's already on lock. So I can give it money and I'm straight because I already got this one. It's the ones that they don't got that's going through the pressure. You're going through that pressure because you're not under the same shackles as the one that's shackled who has the money. You're not under the same pressure as the ones that are secured. They're secured. They can give them because guess what? They can take from them even what that which they gave. But with you, you are a different element. Your mindset is different. They took you out your mind one time and they really didn't even take you out your mind. You was just like, hey man, something ain't right here. This ain't adding up. And so they took that as them taking you out your mind, right? But you trying to figure out, hey, is something wrong with me? And I want you to know that there's nothing wrong with you. It's just the fact that people feel that this gives them power to play on that which is superior. See, they the type that's standing 3 feet 3 and they want to walk up to a 6'5" dude and say, hey, we finna bang. Okay. The 6'5" dude, they want to blind him, bound him, make it where he can't move or nothing, and then say, let's fight, let's fight. I'm finna hard down, go at it. I'm finna take you out. The whole time the 6'5" dude bound, a baby could take him over. So the 3'3" dude think he really doing something. But if they had to ever release the 6'5" dude, you wouldn't even speak. But this is life for us that's superior. This is life for us that's chosen. This is life for us that's anointed. This is life for us that's blessed. So when we see it happening, we sit here and we say, oh, this is interesting, right? But I tell you something else too. I never underestimate the 3'3" dude, even when I'm 6'5", or if it was vice versa. Because I realized the traps. I realized the traps. I can't tell you, man. I get in here, I be ready to work out, man. I'm like a health addict. A lot of people don't know that about me. So when you get to know me and you see money really flowing in my life, like you really see money flowing, you will notice that I'm a health addict. I love eating healthy. I love eating nutritious foods and stuff like that. I constantly like to work out. So people that know me, they'll know me as a health addict if things are functioning the way it's supposed to function and the money's going the way it's supposed to go. All you're going to see is me trim down and get real skinny. And they're going to say, oh man, she's skinny now, boy. It's on. Because they know that's just like my mindset. I'll sit there and I'll put energy in all day. But the thing about it, I now have to program my mind for the times when I don't have. and stop complaining about what I don't have and utilize what I do have. Because the enemy has been using the tactic of me not having to take advantage. I'm going to give you a perfect example. If you don't have the money to pay for the apps, you can't utilize apps that you don't have the money to pay for. So that's the reason why they're trying to stop you. That's another way to stop you. You want to go to school. They got grants out there that can send you to school. But who say you want to use the government grants? Why can't I sponsor myself going to school? Where is the avenue where we're able to sponsor ourselves and educate ourselves through school? There has to be something at a poverty level, some job, something at a poverty level where you can become self-sufficient. If there isn't, this is a problem. Why isn't it registering to anybody that that's a problem? It doesn't register because you're dealing with so many programs that they got out here. They got welfare, they got food stamps, they got Medicaid, they have housing, they have places that pay your light bill, places that pay your water bill, places that give out free food, places that will clothe you, places like Goodwill, places like Walmart, places that give reduced costs of clothing. And all of this covers up the problem. It covers it up. It puts a band-aid on a wound that is oozing. And we forget that we are not being properly compensated. And I'm going to tell you just how sick this is, because I'm sitting up here. I'm in the process. Like I told you guys, I left this job. It paid $15 an hour or whatever. So I'm in the process of finding other forms of employment, right? So what I sat up there and I did the mathematics on, I had one job told me they want me as a teacher, a sub or something like that. They're paying $22 to $24 an hour for someone to come in for 6 hours, right? When I do the calculations and the math on them paying me $22 an hour for a person to come in for 6 hours, that amounts out to the same job that I left that paid $15 an hour. And nobody talks about that. Nobody wants to say, hey, just because you pay more does not mean that you pay more. Because when they start cutting hours, that pay decreases. So, yeah, you pay, let's say, $7 more. Oh, I pay $7 more. But then you cut 2 hours and took right back that $7. And guess what? Us being the type of people we are, because we got landlords, I'm not on housing. Sweetheart, I'm not on a government program. So I can be homeless. My landlord can say, okay, today's the day, ma'am. You're going to have to get up out of here. I can be homeless. So I have to make sure that I pay rent. So guess what? Sometimes we're forced to take that $22 an hour job that's actually $15 an hour and try to scribe with it. And this is the stuff that they don't talk about. They don't want us to say anything about. Then you have companies that are like, okay, well, we need the manpower, but we have to operate without the manpower so that we can function. So they don't want to pay overtime. They got the capacity, they have the need, but at the same time, they don't want to pay overtime. So they don't want to pay you that extra. So they trying to keep you at a 40-hour week no matter what, because they don't want to pay overtime hours, because overtime says time in a half. So I might get $22 an hour, but they're saying, I don't want to pay you that time and a half. Because at 22, things are already a little bit high. So me paying you 22 plus $11, it's only making the situation worse. And then on top of that, to keep you oppressed, you're hearing voices of people that are your naysayers. As you walk through the community, you got to hear this foolishness. All on a job, you got to hear this foolishness. Everywhere you go, you got to hear your oppressors, and we call them oppressors. These 3 feet 3 dudes are women. You okay, but you still ain't on a 11, even if you wanted to be. These 3 feet 3 dudes coming at you when you 6'5", trying to stop you and stop your prosperity. So you hearing them say certain things. They're using psychology. They're using devices, brain probing devices, and all these devices that they have learned through mastering psychology. When truth be told, half of them haven't mastered it. Half of them do monkey see, monkey do type stuff and consider it a mastery. But we ain't gonna talk about these monkeys. We just gonna sit up here and show it what it is, because there's a difference between a black person and a monkey. And I'm pretty sure although you have man key, doesn't mean you know how to open the lock, baby. It does not mean that you know how to open the lock. So it is what it is. Some of them talking about they gorillas. And some of this stuff that I'm hearing disgusts us, because their lifestyles and our lifestyle don't align. 3'3", you don't align with me. I've been a 6 before, baby. But at the same time, at 6, I was a good 6. At 9, I was a good 9. At 3, I was a good beginning. My beginning was good. So I stay good. Even if I was to be evil, I would still be good. So knowing what I know, I don't let people deceive me. This is the reason why they go so hard trying to claim me. I can't tell you, I might go through Alzheimer's because these jokers done tried me so hard and I still ain't budged and moved. Still ain't moved on it. So I already know I might be somewhere dumbfounded going through Alzheimer's because they knew better than to try me. I serve God. That's it. So when they come hard, I be like, okay, it is what it is. I serve God. That's it. I know to serve God. See, because I know a God that come in hell and come deliver you. So that's why I serve God. I know a God I be in heavenly places and it's hell. But I got a God that can deliver me. I can show up. You get what I'm saying? Even if it's nothing showing up but me sitting up there just implementing the word of God, I know at some point it renders a fruit, it renders a tree, it renders a result. No matter the switches, the tears, the weeds, it's going to render a result. You will sit up there and you see that the weed has grown up to choke off the wheat, and the wheat turn around and choke off the weed. I have seen God do it. I have seen him cut the enemy off. The enemy comes to choke and smother me out, and I end up smothering it out. I have seen it happen. I am a believer, you know, and that's the difference. I'm not here to sit up there and make you believe. I am a believer. I know the value of it. That's why they go so hard. That's why they don't want me to see God's hand moving in my life. Every day, God's hands move in my life, no matter how much pressure, oppression I go through. God's hands moving in my life. God's people's working for the greater good of me and themselves, and things are going to get better. I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know how, but I know God's going to show up at some point. At some point. And that's what they're angry about. But anyway, before I end this video, I got some things I need to sit up here and make sure that you know. They're going to say some nasty stuff to you. They're going to do some nasty stuff to you. If you cave, you have only given yourself over to your enemy. If you cave, you have only given yourself over to your enemy. And you will see people caving, and they ain't even caving. They still at war, but they're held demonic captive. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell y'all, people? You got people that they say, oh, this one said they were going to join us. And they caved, right? But it wasn't even their free will. And they show you that person because they know what they done did to that person psychologically. Some of it be a lie. Sometimes they doing something totally different. I can't tell you how many times a person will lie. I be in the kitchen cooking. They'll lie and say I'm down 5th Street somewhere. And I'm a whole time I'm in the kitchen cooking. Fam come home. I heard say you was blah 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 blah. Nah, I've been in here cooking. I heard say you were doing blah 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 blah. No, man, I'm minding my business. I'm a woman of God. Certain stuff I don't do. You're going to have to find out who that is, because certain stuff I don't do. But you hear about it all. And you're still not registering. They disguise. They look like us. They terrorists. They look like us. They black like us. But stop judging a man by the color of their skin and start checking them characters. Your character don't line up. You want to sit up here, you want to play mama, you want to play daddy, you want to play auntie, uncle, cousin, you want to play bestie, you want to play employer, then start looking like one. Have your principles in line like one. Stop being disguised, pretending you us, and you're not. I'm going to tell you another trick of the enemy. The enemy will take from you something that you value just to keep you around. Something that you value. That's a demonic behavior for demons. They take stuff that you value to keep you around them, like everything okay. And the only reason why you stay around is because you're overseeing or watching over. They don't know the truth. Only reason why you stand around because you refuse to relinquish your hands off of what is your property. Whether you can afford it or not. You refuse to relinquish your hands off of what's your property. This is called theft at the highest bidder. Because a lot of us have been stolen from and we don't even know yet that we're stolen from. Because what was stolen, we didn't consider it like cash or capital or resources, but it was nevertheless stolen. Education was stolen. That's the one thing they say, they could never take education from us. Sweetheart, they have studied that they couldn't take from us. Went back in time on this atlas and started to create a way to deprive you of even your education. We learned this with Adam and Eve. It's that biblically old. This is the reason why we call the Bible a double-edged sword. This is the reason why we call healing a double-edged sword. Listen to me. The same thing I can use to heal you, I can use to sicken you. This is what we call the cure to wellness. The cure to wellness. If you sick, I can get you sicker. You understand what I'm saying? I can cure your wellness. And this is the gameplay they're playing. They want you mentally insane. Why? Because they want to give you the cure to wellness. And the cure to wellness is a disease. They want you diseased mentally. They want you throwed off in the brain. They rape you off day and night, 24 hours a day. Why? Because they want you mentally incompetent. When they see it don't work, they start at other strategies. When the rape didn't work, you want something that you trying to utilize something else. When you sat there and you diddle dallied in my brain all day long, trying to keep me in confusion and keep me in what you name, and all I did was sit there and read the Bible, studied my little books and everything, stayed focused on God, trying to do what I got to do. When I couldn't stay focused on God no more and it came too much pressure, I just fall asleep. When sleep didn't work, I sat up there, carried myself to work, and try to push through my day, no matter how much chaos was offered up in that day. No matter how much chaos was offered up in that day. I got people right now that can't find their way home. They got to put the GPS on to get home. They have to put the GPS on to get home, Google Maps on to get home, or they'll have to sleep out on the streets. This how real it gets as a citizen of the United States of America. We go to war for ours as just citizens. It gets real. Half of y'all don't know the drama we go through. I might never see home, but they ain't ready to hear that and how mentally disturbing this is. They're not telling you we got to sit up there and we got to hire midwives. We can't even go to the hospital no more and give birth to our children because our children might end up being taken advantage of the same as us. And guess what? We can't even send them to school because if we send them to school, they can get taken advantage of in school and kidnapped before they're old enough for us to teach them the way. Oh, really? Well, let me tell you about the ones that's now coming in your homes. They come in your house, break into your house through windows, doors, and everything else to kidnap your child, to make sure that your child is considered a slave or a servant by inputting some of this stuff into your children. They ain't gonna talk to y'all about this. They ain't gonna tell y'all the truth. You sending your child to school, something else coming home. You can't see anyway. You're going through vision compromise, but you don't even know that. You don't even know that your child was switched. Didn't I tell you about the switches, tears, and the weeds? You didn't know. But this is stuff that they're not talking about. This stuff been put into children at a young age. Kids being raped off at a young age. Talking about we got to get them used to it. Then in adulthood, I can honestly say, because of the word of God and me holding to the commandments of God, because trust me, I was taken captive whether I held to the word of God or not, because when you are beautiful at a young age, and I'm telling this to all the young women, all the young men out there, when you're beautiful at a young age, young men, they will try to make you gay. You so handsome. They will try to turn you out because they know you're handsome. They know you're beautiful inside and out. And they come to destroy it. They never look like you. They don't stand a candle to you, baby. But they're there to destroy you. Young women, the most beautiful is skin. Black, white, baby, it can be pale. You hear me? You so white, you look like powder, baby. You so black, you look like dirt. You look like Mother Earth on them. And guess what? They look at you as a woman or a man and see how gorgeous and beautiful you are. And they come to destroy you. They come to destroy you because guess what? You're made in God's image. God ain't made no mistakes on you, baby. And so now they come to destroy you. Sometimes I can't even tell you, the Muslim faith tells a woman to try to not adorn themselves so much. The Christian faith says the same thing. If you sit up there and you read in Corinthians, say, do not braid your hair, because your hair by itself can lure these things and these beasts out here in this field. So cover your hair, cover yourself up, because your beauty, you're so beautiful as a people. You're like the angels that stepped into Sodom and Gomorrah. Remember what they said they want to do to them? That's why you having these type of problems. And even when they have set up here and destroyed you, broke you down, everything, you're still desired. Break you off with everything that's in the city limits and outside the city limits. You still desired. You are still considered the most beautifulest thing that they could ever come into contact with. And so they sit up there and they surround you around stuff that says negative things to you all day, hoping that you would sit up there and you would take that stuff into your spirit. So as you walk through, they want you to take into your spirit darkness, take into your spirit things that are not giving off good energies and good vibes. They want you to sit up there and think that you're a loser. Baby, you was born to win. You made in the image of God. Who can stop him? Who can stop you? And they know this. They sold their souls, so they don't have one anymore. And the ones that sold their souls, they holding other people captive, and they're out of it, docile, saying, I'm doing what God says do. But truth be told, they don't even know that they serving demons. And it's been since the beginning of time in Genesis. Because the sons of God, they call some of them the Nephilim. They came down pretending that they were God. And this is after God's creation. God made man in his image, in their image. And guess what? They set up that they came down to play God and told these people, you don't need knowledge. But I just not told you, knowledge is good and evil all by itself. So they had you dumbfounded and then want you with no knowledge whatsoever. Because guess what? Learning how to be a mechanic can teach you how to sit up there and build and engineer things that you ain't never seen before. You can be the MacGyver of the hood. But they don't want you with that type of knowledge, because that's the knowledge of good and evil. Because you can be a MacGyver. I know y'all ain't never heard of MacGyver. MacGyver is like old school stuff where this man would sit up here and take tape and paper clips and just like make traps and booby traps and weapons and all kinds of stuff. But that's that good and that evil. You got knowledge. It's how you use it. That's going to make the difference. How you use that knowledge is going to determine whether it's used for good or whether it's used for evil. Book of Eli. This movie is called Book of Eli. In the movie, the Book of Eli, the man just wanted the Holy Bible to rule over people. You still got that going on right now today. People only want the word of God to rule over you, have control over you. They don't want you with wisdom. They don't want you with knowledge and understanding. They never want you to pick that Bible up and read it yourself. In fact, they never want you to read it in different versions, because the different versions may give you more of an insight on what they were dealing with at that time. So, with you knowing all that I have revealed to you, you know the enemy is very much against you and your prosperity. Be wise. Be smart. Don't let the enemy trick you. They set up there, they say, oh, they have the knowledge now. But if they eat from the tree of life, if they actually was to sit up there and come into the atmosphere of God and the true and living God, they will have life eternally. All they had to do was just choose God, and doors would open up for them that have never opened up for them before, and they will live it for eternal. They may even become like Enoch, for he was, and then he was no more because God took him. Know what you're dealing with. The enemy is very much real. In the end of Genesis, it sat up there and it said that this was the promise of God. Everybody have heard this promise before. God promised to give you what? Eternal life, right? Guess what they said? We want to keep them from the Garden of Eden, because if they sat up there and they end up in the Garden of Eden and eat from the tree of life, they would do what? Live forever. The tree of life is God, the creator. So if you come into actually encountering God, the creator, and you already have the knowledge of good and evil, and knowing that I can learn anything, there's nothing that I can't learn. There's nothing that I can't learn. Technology can't aid me in doing it. It's nothing that I can't do. Then you're the most powerful creature on earth. You just need to know the know-how on how to do it. This is part of the reason why they want to get rid of libraries. They don't even want y'all with a library, a free library. This is the reason why we need to fight to get more books and to expand the libraries, because these libraries are so small, but they're supposed to be way bigger. But we're limited. They want to keep everything limited for you, because the more they limit you, the more power and control they have over you. And when people begin to talk to y'all and say, y'all, hey man, you're going to have to trust God on this. You're going to have to be a believer. Believe God. It might seem hard. Trust God. Believe God. God going to do it. He going to fix it. And that's going to be the hardest thing for some people to do, because it gets crazy. You're gonna be convulsing sometimes. They're going to have you like you on crack because you won't steal. I'm going to tell you something. The simplest thing, stealing. And guess what? You can get away with it. The money's right there in front of you. Kid you not. The enemy gonna be like trying to puppeteer you, like force you to steal the money. And you sitting there, you convulsing. People like, this joker done went crazy. You're convulsing, saying, no, you will not control me. You will not have power and authority over me. I will not do this. Foaming out the mouth and everything. They like, oh, this one having a seizure. No, we ain't having a seizure. Me and the devil having a showdown. I done told the devil no. And they still keep coming around. And going through that showdown. Oh, she back out the door now. Because I do a showdown. I'm not going to do it. It's a no. They sit up there. You refuse to be sexually active. You refuse to enter in a relationship. They start raping you out. You rape me off all you want to. God to give me a whole new body, baby. He did it before. I'm pretty sure he can do it again. He'll do it again. A million times over and over again. New skin, new everything. Oh, well. Because you have to let the enemy know. No weapon formed against me gonna prosper. My God is more than a conqueror. You sitting up there, you want me to stress about this body, man. You can destroy this body, but you ain't finna sit up here and take my soul, man. That's all I have left. That's all I have left. It's a little piece of soul that I do have, because if you ever get to this soul and don't find me down again, ain't no telling when I get free. The Saints have to win 1,000,000,000,000 victories to get me free again. The real people of God got to come in this thing, going to warfare to get me free again. So I don't play with my life like that. Some of y'all suffering demonic possession, and y'all the ones in the church that was singing break every chain. And now you have to become a chain breaker and get back in the word of God and break those chains. Stop letting the enemy pull their low down dirty shame on you and trying to make you feel guilty. Because the moment you come into recognition that it wasn't your decision, that you was held demonic captive, I can't tell you how many years the enemy played on me. When I say the enemy played on me, boy, that enemy had a number with my tail. I would sit up there and I would feel like I was nothing. I don't have a college degree. I don't have this. I don't have that. I went to college, found out really what it is, found out how they try to fight against us, found out when your degree come, they don't even want to tell you that you got a degree. You got to be your own steward, your own everything. You're going to have to be your own advocate, your own counselor, advisor, and everything. I stopped feeling bad about that. I stopped. I'm good. Even with you being prior warned, you got to really stay up on everything. You're going to be warned ahead of time. And you still got to stay up on everything because nobody's going to advise you no more. They gone. They just going to sit back and watch the show. I'm telling you, I felt so bad. Now when they sit up there, oh, you don't have a degree. You the less of all of us. If you don't get on somewhere, baby, have you not learned that the least may be the greatest? Sweetheart, I had shackles and chains on me. What you had on you? None of that. Better get on somewhere with that. You had none of the trials that I went through. So don't talk down on me thinking that you better than me, because if you go through the hell I go through to get it, you will sit down somewhere and praise me. Stay in your lane and know what you're dealing with. A lot of times you're going to see that happen because they trying to belittle you. Don't let them. They don't have to go through what you go through. Oh, they got it easy. They able. But when you can do it and they know you can do it, they like to keep you bound. For if the rich man knew which hour the enemy was going to come to steal from his house, bind him and steal from his house, he wouldn't have never allowed it to happen. So stay with God. Don't allow it to happen. Because they coming for more. You already bound, you blind, and everything else. They trying to come for your life this time. Know what you're dealing with. They don't care. I remember they was talking down on me. You got 5 kids and all this stuff, and you ain't got multiple baby daddies and all this stuff, and you're having sex outside of marriage and all this different stuff that they was talking. I used to feel bad. Oh my gosh. Me, why would they say these things about me? I'm such a good person. Yeah, I know I did it, but I'm not what you say I am. Why y'all throwing my name in the dirt? But when I sat up there and God delivered me and say, baby, you didn't even make them decisions. Let me show you who made these decisions. Let me show you that you were under demonic possession. And I actually went through the steps of demonic possession, and God revealing to me that that's what it was. And that's where the 5 kids came from. And that's where the drama came from. And that's where all this stuff came from, to hold you down and bound you even more. That's where the sexual situations and sexual immorality, that's where the homosexual spirits come from. That's where all this mess come from, to hold you down and keep you from having. And he began to deliver me from that. Oh, you can say what you want to say. I practice abstinence even though I'm in a rape situation. I don't have sex. I don't have an old man. I don't touch nobody. I don't want to be with nobody. I ain't gay. And guess what? I'm going through all kinds of rape situations. All kinds of rape situations. But at the end of the day, I'm not throwing in the towel. They sitting up there right now. If you talk to a man, we'll let you go. You ain't never got to let me go. I ain't finna talk to a man, woman, or nothing else, or a child. I ain't touching no man, woman, or child. I'm not a pedophile. I ain't finna get caught up in none of the mess. I can't tell you. Some of y'all gonna go through pedophile issues. They ain't gonna tell you about that. Y'all gonna go through pedophile issues where they gonna try to make you a pedophile because you had sex with a man and you was a woman. And because you a man and you had sex with a woman, they're gonna try you. You better know what you're dealing with. When you serve God, all that stuff start to be divulged right in front of you. It comes up and you find out what it really is. They will rape your children and lie and say they didn't rape your kids. And it's nothing that you can do because they sitting up here, they in authority. But we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but the spirits of principles that are evil in authority. They got the power to do it. And they doing it. That's where that Epstein foolishness and all this other rape stuff coming on and Trump stuff coming on and all this stuff right here, because they're operating in authority and they got the power to do it and practicing bad principles. It's that cure for wellness. It's that disease. It's that COVID. This that envy, whatever new disease they got. This is that. This is what the CDC fight against. This is it. You better make sure that you're well, because the only way to stay well is with God and following God's commandments. Sin waits at the door. What it's trying to do, it want to rule. But you better be a ruler too. Sin want to rule over me. I want to rule over you too. Stop playing the games with them. Enemies, stay on some foolishness. The silence isn't silent. Peace isn't peaceful. You're non-active at sex and you going through more sexual activity than you ever known. Because guess what? They telling you, okay, you do what we say do, you have it good. Let me tell you something. Do the right thing. You know what's right and wrong. Do what you feel is right. If it means you gotta blow a joker head off they head, I did the right thing in accordance to what I believe. I did the right thing, because if I allow this to continue, it's only gonna get worse. But I can tell you the truth. Even with blowing the head off of that joker, it shifts into something else. Because they don't know what they doing. A lot of these people sitting up there demonically possessed, they don't even know what they doing. They challenging you because a spirit in them says challenge you. It's not even their will to challenge you. Because you never been opposition for them. You ain't even, half of these people, you ain't even on their level. Honestly. But you so superior on the level that you on, that they send up there trying to test you before you get there. That's just how bad you is. So know what you're dealing with. God bless you guys. Stay up.